Welcome to Room A, Dramatic Elements. This room, we will focus on different dramatic elements that are seen in Act 2 of Romeo and Juliet. Make sure you have your Act 2 discussion notes guide open so that you can answer any questions that I ask during this recording. Okay, let's begin. The first thing we're going to talk about today is dialogue. In order to get a better understanding about what dialogue is, please click this link that is on your Act 2 discussion notes guide. While watching this video, please pause this recording. Okay, after you've paused, you should have watched this video so that we can move to the next slide. Dialogue. This is when you write what a character says using their exact words. Our first question that we're going to answer on our Act 2 discussion notes guide is this. How do the characters in Romeo and Juliet express their thoughts? A. Dialogue, B. Short stories, or C. Poems? On your Act 2 discussion notes guide, highlight the answer that best fits the question. Okay, next slide. The balcony scene is a very important scene in our play. This takes place after the ball. Romeo climbs the wall of the Capulet orchard in order to see Juliet. In doing so, he avoids being discovered by Mercutio and Benvolio. He then makes his way back to the ground below Juliet's window. She appears moments later, and the scene begins. Before Romeo speaks to Juliet, he listens to her without revealing himself. Okay, so now we're going to watch the video of the balcony scene. On your Act 2 discussion notes guide, click the link for this video. Pause this recording so that you can watch the video. At this point, you should have paused this recording and you should have watched the balcony scene. We're going to go to the next slide. Let's take one part of Juliet's soliloquy in the balcony scene. Here she says, O Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or, if thou wilt not, be but sworn, my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. So now we're going to answer some questions on our Act 2 discussion notes guide. The question that's number 2 on the notes guide says, what is Juliet wishing when she states, O Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Is it A, Juliet is wishing that she could find Romeo because they are playing hide and seek? B, Juliet is asking why Romeo is who he is, a Montague? Or C, Juliet is waiting for Romeo and he is late for their date? At this point, you should have answered number 2 on the Act 2 discussion notes guide in Room A, Dramatic Elements. We're going to move on to number 3. What is Juliet asking Romeo to do when she states, deny thy father and refuse thy name? Is it A, Juliet wishes that Romeo had a different last name? B, Juliet wishes that she and Romeo could be together without having to deal with the family feud? Or C, all of the above? Answer your question for number 3 on the Act 2 discussion notes guide. We're going to go to the next slide. The balcony scene is an example of a classic soliloquy. True or false? On your Act 2 discussion notes guide, answer if this is a true or false statement. A soliloquy is a long speech by one character in a play or movie. Answer this question now. We're going to move to the next slide. That balcony scene is a soliloquy. Be careful. A soliloquy and a monologue are very similar. The biggest difference is that a monologue has other characters on stage, and this monologue is presented to the characters. A soliloquy, on the other hand, is presented just to the audience, so you can see what the character is thinking. Monologues persuade other characters to feel, believe, or do something, usually by trying to engage their emotions. Our example is Act 1, when Mercutio was giving his Queen Mab speech to Romeo and Benvolio. Now let's talk about metaphor. Remember, a metaphor is a direct comparison between two like things, not using the words like or as. So right now, we're going to read an excerpt from Act 2. Before we read this excerpt, it's always a good idea to read your question so we can focus. Our question will be, what is the metaphor Romeo is using when speaking of Juliet? Is it A, he compares her to love? B, he compares her to a saint and he is a pilgrim needing forgiveness? Or is it C, both A and B? This, of course, you'll answer on your Act 2 discussion notes guide. So let's read. Romeo. If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle fine is this, my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss. Juliet. Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss. Romeo. Have not saints lips, and holy palmers too? Juliet. Aye, pilgrim, lips they must use in prayer. Romeo. Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair. Juliet. Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake. Romeo. Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips, by yours, my sin is purged. Juliet. Then have my lips the sin that they have took. Romeo. Sin from thy lips? O trespass sweetly urged! Give me my sin again. Go ahead, answer number 5 of Room A Dramatic Elements on your Act 2 discussion notes guide. That concludes the Room A discussion notes guide. Let's go back and see how you answered. Sorry. This answer should be A, dialogue. Dialogue is when you write what a character says using their exact words. So it makes sense in a play that Romeo and Juliet express their thoughts through dialogue. In this number 2, our answer is B. When asked what is Juliet wishing when she states, "O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?" She's wishing that Juliet is asking why Romeo is who he is, a Montague, right? Because their families are feuding. Number 3, the answer is C. When asked, what is Juliet asking Romeo to do when she states, "Deny thy father and refuse thy name"? She's asking that Juliet wishes that Romeo had a different last name because then they could be in love without any difficulties from their families. And also, she wishes that she and Romeo could be together without having to deal with the family feud. Number 4 is true. Remember, a soliloquy, a long speech by one character on stage. Monologue, on the other hand, is when there's other characters on stage. And for our answer here, when the metaphor that Romeo is making when speaking of Juliet is B. He compares her to a saint. He is a pilgrim needing forgiveness. That concludes Room A, Dramatic Elements. Please go back and rewind this recording if you have any questions, or ask your teacher.